Kinda Pregnant is a new film with Amy Schumer on Netflix, and apparently it's the #1 film on Netflix at the time of this recording. And here's the thing, I did not like it. Now, here's the issue. You would think a show that I do that's called 10-Minute Rant, I will just totally, absolutely, and tear this film a new one. I know there's a lot of people, there are a lot of critics on YouTube and TikTok who love to do that. And hey, I have to say they're fun to watch. And I have to admit, except for maybe Beetlejuice, I can't think of any other film on 10-Minute Rant that I've just basically said like, this film is awful, now I'm at it. Kinda Pregnant is awful. It is not a good film. And what I can't tell is it self-aware of this? And I have to think, no, it has no idea and is completely clueless that everything in this film has been done before, and that this plot line is terrible, and that the main character is actually not very sympathetic. And so, here's the thing about Amy Schumer. I've seen other films that Amy Schumer has been in that I thought were very good. Trainwreck I actually thought was somewhat good. The film I think it's called I Feel Pretty. I think that was pretty good too. But I've seen performances by Amy Schumer that I just think are just not very good. And here's the thing, I realize I'm a man, and as part of the patriarchy, yes, I acknowledge that these things exist in me, that I don't really like Amy Schumer's humor. I remember watching a comedy special of hers, and I think at one point in time I just got kind of like, okay, I can't relate with anything that this comedian is talking about. So I just kind of shut it off. And now, I don't remember what comedy special it is. I'm not going to do a 10-minute rant on it because I don't feel justified doing a 10-minute rant on something that I didn't finish. But in this case, I did watch all of Kinda Pregnant, and I thought it was awful. Here's the basic premise of this thing. Amy Schumer is a teacher, and a lot of her friends are having babies. And there's at one point in time, I actually kind of like the show not tell about this part, but she just kind of Googles like, why are pregnant women so close to each other? And when she kind of Googles this, she discovers, she accidentally stumbles upon an ad for like pregnant women yoga or something like that. So she goes into this pregnant woman yoga class, and she just kind of stuffs something in her belly to make it look like she's pregnant. And of course, this is when she starts putting on this facade that she's a pregnant woman. And this is one of those stories that I don't think really works, where someone tries to fake a pregnancy. This was a subplot on the show Glee for a while, and it was one of the most unappetizing subplots on the show, which had many. And then I think Lindsay Lohan was in a movie that was kind of like this, or something like this, where she had to pretend to be pregnant. I don't even remember what the title of that. I just remember that I think exists. And I think even when I saw that Lindsay Lohan thing, I just kind of went like, hey, aren't they doing that on Glee? So they're taking a plot that not only has been done before, but the variation has been done to death. This is what is called the liar revealed plot. And it usually involves a character that gets stuck in a lie, and then you're sort of waiting for all the lies to pretty much fall on them. And the funny part about it is, as they're going about the lie, they're doing things that really should have outed them a long time ago. Like, for example, at the yoga place, when they ask her how far along is she doesn't really have a very pat answer for that, which you probably would if you were actually pregnant. But I guess she didn't think that far ahead that somebody might ask her that, and probably should have done at least some searches of images of pregnant women at certain times so she would know that. So she put something large in her, and which she does several times in this movie. She has to because apparently, she'll bump into somebody that thinks she's pregnant, and she'll just take the closest object near her, stuff it in her belly, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm really doing good and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to issues of like the subject of pregnancy, this is something I will, of course, never experience, so I can't really relate with any of the humor that often comes along with stuff like this. I mean, and so, like, for example, the scene where she's actually at this yoga class, there are a lot of just dumb fart jokes that I just went like, oh gosh, what the heck is this movie? And I felt like while I was watching this, I felt like, man, even if Adam Sandler could get pregnant, he wouldn't be in this movie. And here's the thing I found out. And perhaps I must have thought of Adam Sandler because the Happy Madison logo is right in front of this film, and as I went along, I think maybe it was on my mind subconsciously, and by the time I got to the end, when I saw executive producer Adam Sandler, I went like, well, it all fits. Because it's like, this feels like a plot line he would be involved in, and I just kind of went like, yeah. There are scenes in this film where I just kind of went like, no one would do this. And I hate it when I'm watching a comedy where somebody does something and you know that nobody would do this. For example, at the beginning of the film, Amy Schumer is dating her boyfriend, and when her boyfriend gives her a cake, she thinks there's like a ring in it or something, so she just kind of tears it apart. And I kind of went like, no one would do that. No one would just do that. I kind of went like, no one would, she would cut into it. She would, I just felt like, why is she, and and he's all like, what are you doing? And it's like, yeah, my point exactly. And I just went like, that's crazy. There's a scene later on in this film where Amy Schumer goes to visit one of her friends who is pregnant. And so she has the fake something in her stomach. And here's the thing. Her friend has another kid. And this kid likes to get in the knives. And this kid is running around with a knife. And he stabs Amy Schumer in that spot with the thing. And I went like, oh my gosh, that's awful. I just went like, I couldn't believe I was seeing that. And it was just like, why? It's just like, and of course she can't address this as the issue because then she'd have to reveal that she's not pregnant. But at that point in time, that kid had a knife and stabbed you. Something needs to be done here. And I went like, that's not funny. That's nothing. There's a scene later on in this film where I think Amy Schumer is at a baby shower. And of course, all of the baby showers she goes to are absolutely over the top, with the gender reveal and stuff like that, because that's the world that this takes place in. At one point in time, one of her friends says like, yeah, I had an alpaca, but I couldn't get much milk out of it. And I was going like, it's a boy alpaca. And I just was waiting for that punchline. And sure enough, it was served to me and served horribly cold. Yeah, that joke has been done to death. And they did it. And I kind of went like, geez, is anything in this movie original? And I kind of went like, oh, I was just like, so, yeah. I think there's a scene where she has, oh yeah, I forgot, Will Forte is in this movie. Usually he's in pretty good movies, but the character he plays in this, I think they're gonna, they're having some romantic time in a garage, and the garage door gets open unexpectedly. And I'm just going like, okay, I guess I was just so expecting that scene to happen. Here's the thing about this, and I'll get into the spoiler here, but honestly, you're probably going to figure out how this film ends. She does eventually have to break down and tell everybody that she's not pregnant. And so what happens? Well, her new friend basically goes, or the one that thought she was pregnant before, basically goes like, I guess we're no longer friends anymore, or something like that. And Will Forte, who also thought she was pregnant, breaks up with her because it's like, yeah, you're no longer reliable. And then they get back together. He just kind of just realizes like, oh yeah, I guess I'm bad too. And then I guess we can be together because, well, this movie's got to end happily somehow. And then they drive off in a Zamboni, which of course is just, I don't know, what is this? And then the Zamboni like wrecks everything, which is just not really funny. Somebody could have been seriously injured in that. If the film had the balls to show people getting put under the Zamboni and dying horribly, I actually might have thought, oh my gosh, they almost stuck to the landing on this one. As it is, Kind of Pregnant is very awful. So don't see it.